It's funny, I looked into the light and now I can't see very well because it's really pointed my eyes towards light, and it's such a great metaphor because when you look into the light, you get discombobulated. You know, when they say that part of the reasons divinity doesn't show itself, God, the nature itself, the spirit that drives everything around in this universe, it's because it's so magnificent, so bright, and so light, and so full of love that people would not be able to process it. It would be too much for them. Like they literally say that light can kill from shock. And it's very similar to what they say about anyone who knows who works with angels. They also say, like, often they appear in the shape of humans with wings, but in reality, it's not how they look. They can appear in any shape they want to appear in because they are presenting themselves in a way that humans can recognize, so they don't get spooked. But one of the ways that they can present themselves is as a major light. So I was having that for a moment. It's part of what I want to talk about today. Is that it's a special message for light workers, and there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of need in it right now, and a lot of people all over the world are freaking out because there's going to be a war, whatever that word repeats. So I advise everyone who is a light worker to really clean their mouth and just not mention that. And I know it sounds like, oh, it's irresponsible and all that, but anyone who works light know that it's not irresponsible, and everything we talk about is very essential, because especially if we're spiritual beings who are very aware and done the work, then we're very much aware of what's the power of our words and what we give attention to grows. So if you mention that word over and over again, you'll probably manifest in the reality. And there's no surprise that it's mentioned over and over again in all kind of media outlets, and it expands. What a wonderful proof to one of my Nietzsche's principles. It's not really my principle, it's just something I learned along the way. It appears in many religions, in many spiritual codes, in many esoteric information, magical information, you name it. Go do your research, see that it's everywhere. The key is that people have to really maintain stability and tranquility and allow the light to flow. And one of the visions I had lately is that we really have to you don't have to do anything. You can also sleep all through it. Let me tell you, your guides and your spiritual team will do so much work while you're sleeping, probably so much more work than being alive and listening to people talking about all these shenanigans that's happening outside, because you can't cut yourself away from people. But me, I'm lucky, I don't have a lot of people around me, and generally that's one of my lucks in life. And I love people, don't get me wrong, but I also can see where we don't suit or work. I don't fit with every people. I fit with very little amount of people, and even that is like, it has its own thing. Nothing's perfect, as we say, but everything is perfect because of that, because it's a journey of growth. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but that's the perfection, actually. Got me? The thing is that it's not just watching your language, it's not just watching who's around you, it's watching what you're consuming. It's very much a time of diet, of cleansing, of letting go of everything in you, around you, that was life, that is dictated for you or you're introduced to you as life, and reconsidering it. Letting go, it means in your mind, you're not obsessing over it. This is how life is, or this is how my life is. It doesn't mean that you cancel it, it doesn't mean that you drop it. You are a sovereign being who have their own choice. And as a light being, I advise you to reconsider those choices, because I really feel like we're heading very close to some massive changes. I even spoke about particularly in March, massive change. So first of all, I would advise people, especially light workers, to set spiritual goals. So if you see the changes that are happening around and it's panicking you and it's stressing you out and you can't see the way out, then ask to have inner peace. Then ask to find tranquility and acceptance with the world the way it is. Ask to see the perfection in everything. There's a way. Everything that is a challenge, ask for help. Delegate it to your angels, your guides, your spirits, whoever is working with you, your ascended masters, spiritual beings, religious leaders, less in the human form, more in the spirit form, because they're much more powerful and they're much more all-knowing. Obviously, there's a bunch of them on Earth too, not too many. And I also think part of why there's not too many is because we're at the age where, especially light workers or spiritual beings, or people aware that we are spiritual beings, are here to learn that they are their own teachers. They don't need anyone. They are their own masters. The guides, like the teachers they meet around, they guide them how to get into more information, how to practice, or a technique here and there. But if you don't take the efforts to do the things, if you don't make it a lifestyle, then it doesn't matter. You can do 1,000 courses, you can read 1,000 books, you can do everything. So many people hoard spiritual information, and even hoard on courses and workshops, and they gossip, they hate on others, they can be racist, they can be violent, they can be a lot of things, but outside they're spiritual and eliminated because they hoard this spiritual information or practices. It's not about that. And also, any spiritual being can spot one like that from a mile. Some of them don't even know what it is, but they sense that something's off. But it's not about others, it's about you, and that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. In order to hold the light, this is the biggest mission right now, is to hold the light grid. Is that even if you're alone and you feel alone, and you have all of this surrounding is really suffocating and bombarding you, and it's really violent and all these things, shut it off, shut it out. Clear your mind, clear your space, focus only on you. If you have a job, go to your job, do your thing, focus on that. Try to clear your mind, try to focus your mind on your work, try to focus your mind on doing good for others. If you're getting bothered, breathe, do some breathing exercises, and be still and be at the moment. If you don't like the news, I go continuously every time YouTube, because it's the only thing I consume. Continuously propose me news from outlets from different places in the world. I just press the little three circles or dots and say, do not recommend channel. I don't want to see this content. I don't care if it's news. I'll always find someone, and somehow the news I need to know about, like it's about flights, or if it's about moving, or if the world's closing, stuff like that, the basics, it'll get to me. It will. I'm not worried about that. So why do I need to know the rest? It's all drama that is invented anyway. We're getting to the place where we're starting to understand that the world is a story. And it's a story we tell ourselves. And how we choose to tell the story, and what words, and I talked about it in my principles, go watch about. We choose to describe the situations of the words that we create. So mind how you speak too. This is the place to really go over the principles of not self-marketing. They're there for a reason. And to clear your mind, your space, your actions, your thought, the surrounding you're at, what you consume, from food to television to reading to meetings with people, like social interactions. It's time to really take care. If you're tired, take a nap. It's one of my principles too. If you're exhausted, maybe you need a vacation. If you have people you need to take care of and they can hold on for certain things, then delegate it to someone else, or tell them, I can't do that right now. Start really taking care of yourself, because the heavy energy can be very heavy and intense sometimes. It's almost debilitating. And so it's very important to take care of yourself. And in order to hold the light, you need to feel good. So the most important thing is that you feel good, and that you take care of yourself, and that you know and remember that you are loved, and that you're cared for, and that you're welcome in this world, and that you are needed in this world. A few weeks ago, someone that I knew died, and it was someone my mother knew too, and that's what she called me and let me know. I don't really speak to my mom. We don't really get along, but she wanted someone to, chat about that, because she was very sad, and I was saddened by the news too. And then she said, the poor guy, he didn't really do anything with his life. He didn't really achieve anything. And then she gave me the list of what he'd done with his life, which honestly at this point doesn't matter. Even if it was a bum all his life, people don't understand that this Western thing doesn't have a value. The most important thing is that you exist. I said to her, so what? According to you, even though the list didn't show that he achieved what he needed to achieve, he had stability, he paid his bills, everything was good, he didn't depend on anyone, he was a liberated man. She's like, yeah, but he didn't get married, he didn't this and that, he didn't do. He coulda, shoulda, woulda been anything. And I said to her, some people, they're just here to exist. There's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. And we should be loved and appreciated the way it is. Their life and their time on this earth, especially if they suffered, and that man has suffered a lot, both mentally and physically for many years, God bless their soul and their journey home. Respect that. Honor that. You don't know what's going on in people's heart. When I look at all these men who are trying to lead the world into a disaster, you can choose to see them in many ways. You can choose to see them, vilify them, and be like, oh, these villains, they all want to kill all these people, they're horrible people. And I was like, I just see them as kids who didn't get love, who have serious mental issues that they need to go and elude themselves with the illusion of power and go and ruin it for a lot of people, because it's all ruined inside. Everything you see that these men create, it's how they feel inside. So imagine how much they suffer. All this suffering that you see in the world is actually how they feel inside. All these things that we judge or deem as terrible that they say on others, it's how they feel about themselves. Imagine living in a hell like that. People be like, yeah, this person, they should pay the price. I was like, they already paid the price by existing. Trust me on this one. People might look like they're smiling on the way to the bank, but you don't know how, I always say to people, you don't know how a man feels when he puts his head on the pillow. That's the moment when they have a judgment between themselves and the one up there or around us, or the universe, whatever you call it, the force that moves everything. And so you can vilify these people and see them as demons or devils, workers or whatever. But you can also see them as agents of change. People that without them, the illusion of comfort, especially in the US, in particular in the Western world, would continue. And the mass slavery would continue. And the mass oppression would continue. And the mass poverty of all over the world. And the lack mentality. And the violence. And people stealing from each other, from land to resources to water to you name it, will continue. All these things that everybody knows exist, but we kind of as long as it doesn't come to my door, who cares? I care, and you care, and everyone who has eyes and a heart can see it. Without these villains, without them doing all these horrible things and showing the real face of the system like it always have been, so many people will never wake up. The change is impossible. We need that. And one good point to remember always is, part of the reason why the dark will never win is because it's not a united front. They have a leader, and under him there's all these helpers that they very carefully choose and never sleep at night, because God knows when they're going to try to overthrow you. And while they're thinking that they're winning, they continuously try to overthrow each other. They continuously try to grasp the power, because that's what the dark does. It's an equal competition. Who's bigger, who's stronger, who's faster, who's etc. That's why they will fail, because they try to fail each other in order to grasp the power. It's all ego-oriented, lack-oriented, love-lacking oriented movement. While the light, it can be singles who don't even know each other. How many light workers, they comment down below, how many light workers are alone, not just in their journey, in their action, in holding the light, or feeling alone in holding the light? So many, especially the ones who are purging right now, or clearing themselves, or really preparing their vessel to be a tube to allow the goodness and the love, the pure love of the existence to flow through them. And this is the mission that's holding the light great. It sounds like, you're using all these terms that I don't know. I just I hear them in the communications, I heard it some other places too, and then when I heard it, I was like, what is this? Like in a group, like like personal words and definitions that cool star kids or light workers know that I don't know. And at first I didn't understand, and then it showed itself to me. And just like I said before, if you want to know something, ask. So in order to hold the light, you gotta clear yourself. You gotta make sure your energy is up. You gotta sleep well. You need to stay quiet. You need to detox from whatever it is that is toxic for you, from relationships to food, to processed food, to alcohol, addictions, anything basically that harms you. Jobs can be, obsessions. And keep the energy very light, first with yourself, And once you feel it with yourself, you've done it for others. The whole idea of being a vessel, just the tube clearing the body, the energy from the high chakra to the feet every day, and feeling how energy, the flow of light. I like to kind of imagine light flowing from the top, how it's intensified, it passes everywhere on every little inch and every little muscle and tendon and skin and every little cell in my body. It passes and clears, and sometimes it takes me over an hour to clear that, but it changes my day. It makes me feel so much better. It focuses on my focusing so much easier. I achieve tasks so much easier. I feel happy. I feel positive. I feel like nothing in the world can touch me. I feel like I'm doing my work. I feel like fulfilled. I feel rich, enriched, like I took vitamins, spiritual vitamins. So do that. Attend to yourself, because once you attend to yourself, especially if you're purging like very old self-beliefs or narratives or patterns, anything that was stuck or getting you stuck in your life, even in a frustrating way, and you found a way to find love because you ask for it, and you found a way to find ease because you ask for it, and you focus on, and you find a way to talk to your fears because you're not scared of your fears. Keep on doing the work. That is the work. If you clear your tube, you're clearing the world tube. If you remove the debris inside, the emotions that are stuck, the stories that are not working and not serving you anymore, the anguish, the shame, the pain, the humiliation, everything that you passed that is there that you haven't processed, if you remove that, you often not just do it for your family and for generations backwards, because a lot of this behavior was learned in an early age and it was passed on in generations. You can also do it for the area where you live in, and sometimes even for a country, and sometimes even worldwide. It depends how diligent you are and how powerful and powerfully you believe in love, and you allow love to flow, and you do love work with yourself. And if you want, comment down below. I can teach you what the love work is all about. It's great. You feel love when everything is falling apart. You're like full of love, and you send it. I send love to all these villains right to their heart. Their body is their choice. It's not my work. My work is the heart. And I know that this is the only way I can change, because it's so debilitating and distressing and anxious and intense, and there's so many things you have to decide, and everything is changing so quick. And as you know, away from where I come from, I'm looking for a new country to host me. And so it's another topic I have to think of, but I don't let it bother me, because I have guides and guidance and protection that has been doing it for me all year long in such accurate ways that, let me tell you, even when I slide down a little bit of doubt or some darkness or some fear or some stress or anxiety over what's going to happen, they just show me everything that happened through this year and a half, ever since this whole thing started, and how they have always been there for me. Just like I'm here for you in spirit in these videos, giving you advices, preparing you, supporting you, loving you, showing you that you're not alone, and it's not that difficult. Because if you choose to see it in a light way, if you ask for help, if you put it as a spiritual goal, to see the situation in a light way, to block away and remove from your vision and from your path and from your healing these external unnecessary stories, and be able to focus and clarify enough your mind, your soul, and your body, and align everything to create a new story, you will align yourself to a new timeline. And the more you work in it, the more you focus only on that and don't allow that external to come in, the timeline will come faster towards you. Whatever you want, it's about to manifest. If you're focusing, if you're doing the work, if you're clearing the path, if you're making room, removing the old or integrating the old, so there will be room for the new. So hold the light, clear your body, take care of your heart, fill it up with love. If you want to hear my love meditation, drop a comment. I love you. I believe in you. I know it's not an easy journey, and I know a lot of you feel alone, but you're never alone. And if you really feel alone, just ping me on the spiritual network, and I'll send you love. Much, much love and light. Don't be afraid. It's all